Hello people, I am Jaby Koay, joined by TRISHA Cummings, and we're gonna look at a Jordindian video today. What not to do at a restaurant, Jordindian, under 25. Thank you Jordindian for allowing us to react to this. Always look forward to your videos, and very, very excited about this. Just for your context, this is gonna be a kind of a sketch video informing you what not to do at a restaurant. It might be hyperbolic, it might be serious. Here we go.
I'm so excited about this because I could write a book on what not to do at a restaurant.
Athos man.
That's so offensive.
Enjoy your meal, sir. Thank you, boss. Thank you. One more.
Oh shit.
Boss, leave it. No, leave it. It's okay. It's okay.
Sir, I can't, sir. These are leftovers.
These are not overs.
Sir, I'm
These are not over.
I am the manager. You go bring me. This is appetizer. You go. Please go.
Ah, man.
Hi, sir. Can I clear your plate?
No. Don't waste. You parcel this one, and this bread also is good. You parcel this also. Chutney, yeah. Chutney also you parcel.
This also.
Oh, okay. Parcel this one also. Take the onions. Onions also are good. You can eat it.
Look at the kid's face.
Parcel all this, and we'll take it. Be careful. Be careful.
Oh my god.
So, what would you like?
We'll probably have the. Oh, I'd like to have your number.
Eh?
I did not know that that's where it was
So, yeah,
going.
give me a number. Number 4 on the menu, please. Extra cheese.
He's hiding his face.
Yeah, that's it. Just that. Thanks.
Uh-oh. Oh, Jesus. Oh, man, I have so many stories today.
Can I have a steamed rice cake with a hint of semolina? Just give me a side of lentil vegetable stew. Just a little bit, just drizzle salt on top. Just drizzle it like that, and make sure it's very nice and fluffy.
So one plate idli sambar.
And a vada. So what would you like to have, sir?
Pasta.
The pasta bolognese.
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 Mulligan. That's what I was saying.
This place, food, just amazing.
Yeah, dude. Good service as well, so pretty good. Reasonable prices also.
Yeah, definitely reasonable. This is not our bill. What is this? Air tax, water tax, breathing tax. Ooh, I'm not giving all this tax. We'll all pay together. We pay together.
Bro.
You also broke. I have an idea, boss. Listen to me.
They're washing the dishes.
Yes, you know, eh?
Oh my gosh.
There is a lot to talk about here. Okay, the calling of the waiters thing, I could only be so mad at it. You're trying to get your waiter's attention. I will literally walk up to the waiter because here's my thing. When I sit down in a restaurant, I'm often with people that don't know what they want. I know what I want the moment I sit down. The chicken thingy. So like I go right to it. I have this panic attack even when the restaurant's empty that my waiter's gonna disappear for 3 hours and I'm never gonna see them again, right? So I know what I want right away, but like what'll happen is I'm sitting down with TRISHA Cummings. I know what I want. TRISHA's like, I need a minute, please. And that minute turns into 12. So when she's
That
ready,
is TRISHA Cummings.
I go up and I go get the waiter. I'm like, she's ready. I get frustrated. I'm impatient.
And that happens often because I am that person where I'm like, oh, I just need a minute. Especially if it's like, you know, if If I'm with someone I see every day, then I'm like, all right, I'm starving. Let's figure out what we want right now so when the waiter comes up, we can order.
Yeah.
But if you're catching up with someone and
Exactly.
then you're like, you don't even look at the menu or open it.
Exactly.
Then it's like the waiter's like, all right, they're talking. I guess I don't have to come back and take their order for another, 3 hours. And so I get that, but there's an inappropriate and appropriate way to flag down your server.
Yeah.
And clearly, obviously, calling them like an animal is inappropriate because you can't be like, caca, caca.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like-
I mean, he's obviously joking, but I use smoke signals. I mean, that's the easiest way, and firecrackers.
I was going to say, if you could just bring, what are they called, like a mega horn? Bring one of those. I think that's what
One of
it's
those
called.
PA things. Waiter!
Yeah, I totally get that, but it's just, I've seen it happen, and I've actually had friends. I went on a date one time, and the guy I was with, it was the first date, and he literally, like, our waiter was at the table next to us, and he was trying to flag her down, politely at first. And she didn't come over, so then he snapped his fingers, and I was like, oh my gosh, get me out of here. I wanted to disappear into the sea, because I'm like, that's so disrespectful. You're snapping your fingers at someone. You might as well have a bell in your hand.
That would be awesome. You know what they do at Korean restaurants is they have a little
giving you
button.
ideas.
They have a button at Korean restaurants. You can just press it, and you can keep pressing it until they come. And when they show up, they're like, what? They're always irritated.
That's great. Yeah, like a button kind of works, but you can't snap your fingers at someone. I treat waiters like I treat my friends, and I would never snap my fingers at a friend for their attention.
I don't ever snap my fingers. I'm just like waving like they're on the Titanic, and I'm like, yo. So
like they're on the Titanic. Is anyone alive?
yeah. So I think I'm guilty of a lot of the things that they talk about in here. I don't ever call the server like they're an animal, but I will shout them down across the restaurant silently. Like ah. Eating like there's no tomorrow. I sometimes, I don't know. I just eat fast. It's like Friends, like Ross and Monica. Like if you didn't eat fast, you didn't eat. Right?
Yeah.
And that's how I grew up. My classic story is McDonald's, because we would get McDonald's. My mom would, for some reason, she would dump all the French fries into the middle of the table instead of giving us our own individual portions. So me and my brother were trying to get our fill as quickly as possible. Because if we didn't get our fill, there was going to be no fill at all. And so that's just how I eat.
I grew up the opposite, where we had, sit-down dinners every single night, and we would talk about our days, and like it.
Just like
And so
upper crust over here.
I eat slow because that's how I was brought up. Like you take your time eating, and dinner time is like the end of the day. It's the time to relax. But my step-grandfather, before he passed away, he was in the military. He ate faster and messier than I've ever seen anyone eat in my entire life. And
survival depended on it.
Exactly. My mom was like, well, he eats like that because of the fact that, when you're in the military, you only have an allotted amount of time to actually eat. And so he's used to eating as quickly as he can before dinner time is over. Like, I understand it has to do with like societal upbringing, I guess professional upbringing, because his was because of work.
Do you think do you think it's at all related to male and female tendencies at all? Because
No.
You and Achara eat exactly this at the same pace. Here's an example. After hard days of work, sometimes Achara and I will go to get froyo. I'll just inhale mine, and I look at hers, and she's barely scraped the top off. I'm like, how is your shit not melted? I don't even understand that. I don't know. I try to eat slower. I literally try my best to eat slow. And within 2 minutes, it's gone, and hers is not even touched.
Well, it's funny. I don't think that it's gender specific, because I have a lot of girlfriends who eat incredibly fast, and I have a lot of male friends who eat slow.
Where are these girlfriends? Because I need to meet them. These are the women I need to date. Women who can eat fast and bounce. Get on to the next adventure.
I have a lot of friends like that.
Okay, please introduce me.
Yeah, I will. I'll go through my Rolodex and figure out who is a slow and fast eater. But it's funny you said that about froyo.
Weird categorizing. Y'all would get along great.
I just start paying attention.
You're looking at their mouth.
With froyo especially, it's funny you mentioned that, because that is something cold, like a froyo or smoothie is the only thing that I will scarf as fast as I possibly can, solely because I have a weird thing with melted anything. It grosses me out. I hate melted ice cream. And so I want to eat my froyo as fast as I can, because as soon as it starts melting, I have to throw the rest away.
You've got a lot of things.
I do have a lot of things. And they're the weirdest things that you could possibly think of.
I won't mention what she said when she first came through the door.
I feel like now you're gonna have to.
No, that'll be a bonus for the Patreons. We'll talk about it at the very end, so that'll be on Patreon. The thing about the leftovers, okay, I have a huge OCD about other people reaching onto my plate and eating, like, okay, you and I have the same thing about not sharing cups with people, right? Like, I'm very particular, like, this is my cup. Part of the reason I couldn't really get into weed is because people share the joint, and I'm like, I have to have my own thing. That fell off the wagon for me. You know, I stopped doing weed after my first year of experimenting with it because people keep sharing joints. I'm like, that is nasty molasty. I don't like it. So,
Nasty molasty.
so,
Oopsie-daisy and nasty molasty.
So here's the thing. I was a server at it was a Korean-owned Japanese restaurant, and it's called Kintaro Sushi. And basically, there was these two Caucasian girls eating, and they ordered a lot of sushi. And with sushi, you're not using your hands. It's not like French fries. It's very discreet and clean. So if you reached and grabbed a fish, you didn't touch the other fish. So I knew that. And the thing was, there was a lot of leftover expensive fish on the plate. I'm like, I'm so hungry. And I know, like, the best part, the most, like, OCD part of me was like, look, they didn't touch it. It's okay. You can do it, Jaby. And it was the one and only time I ate someone else's food because I was just gonna get tossed otherwise. And so I'm like, fuck it. And I ate it, and it was delicious, and I have no regrets about it.
I think it depends on what the leftovers are. Other people's plates, like strangers' plates, I could never do that. But if it's, you know, if it's a friend, like my roommate, if she and I go out to get something to eat and, you know, the next day, like, one of us has leftover food, then if she's hungry and it's mine, I'll offer it to her and vice versa. It depends on what it is, though, because if she has leftover, like, spaghetti or like a bowl, like a Mexican bowl or something where everything's mixed together, then it just grosses me out too much because I'm like, oh, you're sitting there. But if I could see that she's eaten like all of her portions, like without like taking like, her fork.
You want some of this? You want some? I'm totally to share with you.
Exactly. And that's kind of what like any type of quinoa bowl or Mexican bowl or whatever looks like, is it's all mixed together. And so then all I can think about is her saliva on her fork going back in to mix around the plate.
That's nasty molasty, no good.
Nasty molasty.
No,
but
no
if it's
bueno.
Something that she's like cut each bite of or whatever, if it's like leftover cauliflower, then I'm like, oh, I'll definitely have some.
Oh yeah, like the thing
but
that challenged
someone I know. I've never eaten a stranger's leftovers.
The thing that challenged my proclivities more than anything else is the French cheese fondue thing. I did it once and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. And that's when I ate dairy. So anyway, enough of that. Next thing is here.
Wait.
What?
Hold on. I have one thing to say. Who are you going to get fondue with? Because my whole thing, like, I'm okay with fondue. And you know I have a weird thing about, like, people spit and stuff, like sharing. I don't know. But you dip it in and then you eat it. So then when you pierce the next thing to dip in, you would have to be going with someone who takes a bite and then, like, double dips in order to be kind of grossed out about it.
I don't know. This was years ago, and it seemed like... I don't know. I'm ashamed to say anything now. So,
sorry.
I relate to this 1,000% because what'll happen is I'm in a restaurant, and there's like a bite left on my plate. Like a little bite. And the waiters are always trying to snatch my shit. I'm like, rude! Yo! I'm working on this. Leave it alone. Or it's like a little saucer of ketchup or something and they try to take it. I'm like, do you see there's like a fry? There's a fry left on the table. Don't touch this until I'm done. I'm Italian. I eat the whole fucking thing. Leave me alone. Like, just.
I'm waiting on a char to get to her second bite and I need something to snack on in the meantime.
Exactly. My whole thing is like, I clean my plate. And it really irritates me when waiters try to come along and clean my plate for me. I'm like, no. I know you want me out, but no. I'm staying as long as it takes. I'm gonna stay twice as long now just because you tried to take the last fry from me. And then like, if I have like a little bit of a bite left over, I might take it in a doggy bag and go home. We call it doggy bag, not, he called it something else here. Parcel. He called it parcel. We call it doggy bag here. I don't know why we call it that. Maybe to feed our dogs. But yeah, if there's a little thing, I'll take it home. I'm like, I can eat that later. It's still good. I paid for that.
I think mine is hit or miss. Taking home leftovers, I'm guilty of taking it home and then never eating it. So if it's something that I know that I'll end up eating later, I'll take it with me. If not, then I'm like, yeah, you could just take it because otherwise it's just gonna sit in my refrigerator.
The waiters hate me. Because I'm very particular when it comes to my food. Like, I don't eat beef anymore. If I was at a restaurant that had burgers, like, I would just look for the classic burger. Or I'd try to find something with some of the ingredients that I like, but it was like, okay, let's say like there was, I'm just gonna make up something like the Hawaiian burger, right? And there's like an avocado in it. But then there's like pickles and onions and pineapple and all this other stuff in there that I don't want. And I'm like, okay, that's the only thing that has the avocado. So I go, can I get the Hawaiian burger, please? But no pickles, no onions, no avocado, no, this. And he's like, so you basically just want a burger with avocado. I'm like, yeah, that's what I want.
Why wouldn't you just order the classic burger and
Because it's not on
add
the menu.
avocado?
Because it's not on the menu.
Okay.
Or the classic burger with avocado was more money than the Hawaiian burger, or whatever the other thing was. Hawaiian burgers don't have avocado. That was a bad example. But my point is that oftentimes, if you order the classic with an ingredient that you want, it's more expensive than getting something else and taking all the shit out that you don't want. Waiters hate me because of that. I'm like, why can't you just get the thing with all the... I'm like, I don't want all the trimmings, please.
I'm pescatarian, and I have been for about 9 years now.
I grew up Catholic.
It's... Oh. Well, that's nice.
It just sounds like a religion. I know, it's not.
Now I get it. I was like, wait a minute, what's the connection between pescatarian and Catholicism? That makes more sense now.
okay.
Yeah, I have been for about 9 years. But
For those of you that don't know, that's a fish eater, right? You eat fish strictly?
That's it, yeah, just fish. But that only accounts for about 5% of my diet. The other 95% of the time I'm vegetarian. I just hate when people call themselves a vegetarian and then they say occasionally hate fish. But anyway, so I'm pescatarian, but usually when I go to restaurants, I have my specific things I look for. Like it's Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, it's things like that. So I know what I'm going to order and I don't make any types of adjustments. But before I became pescatarian, there are certain restaurants in LA where I would go to it and it would be like a Tuscan chicken salad, but I would do the same thing where I'm like, can you leave off this, and then I would add the things that I wanted on the salad.
Yeah.
So I basically
totally.
created my own salad and I'm like, I love this restaurant, but the waiters probably hate me. I don't want to go back. And it's, yeah.
I totally empathize because I feel the same way.
So what I'm saying is I used to be you and then I progressed into a better human.
Ouch. That was a nice little backhanded compliment. Okay, so...
I don't modify things anymore.
We'll keep modifying until I kick. But in this scene, what he actually did was he asked for the girl's number. And I think I tried to ask out a waitress once in Italy. And that was the last time I did it.
I thought you were going to say once a week.
No. I'm not like that.
I think I ask a waitress out about
I know I come off as that kind of guy, but I don't ask women out as often as it might appear. So I was in Italy in Venice, and there was a cute waitress who was serving us. And I walked up to her super nervous, and I was like, hey, I was just wondering if you had a boyfriend? She's like, no. And then she was a bitch to me the rest of the day. So I was like, after that, I just stopped asking out waitresses. I'm like,
just scarred for life.
Yeah, I was just like, you know what? They probably get hit on all the time. If they're hot, they probably get asked out left, right, and center, and they don't want that. So the way to do it, the way to go about getting their number is to never ask and just forget that they existed.
There's only one waiter that I have hit on that I can think of right now, but it was at a restaurant in LA that I went to twice a week.
It's different if it's a girl hitting on a guy, though.
I was going there all the time, and so I didn't want to make things awkward if he didn't want to go out with me or if he did have a girlfriend, because then I am going back to that restaurant and I would have to see him twice a week, and I'm just already so awkward in general when it comes to any type of confrontation, and so I didn't want to go back. So instead, I followed him on Instagram, friended him on.
Stalked him. Look, if you just asked him, if you just asked him, would you like to go out sometime? Even if he had a girlfriend, he'd say yes. He'd be like, well, let me dump this bitch over here. You're way hotter.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna fill out the vibe. If he doesn't follow me back, then
Unless he was dating like that Mexican news anchor that COD player was dating. There's this Mexican news anchor who was just like, oh my God.
Drop dead gorgeous.
Drop dead gorgeous. And this is a whole other topic we shouldn't get into right now, but there was a YouTuber who was dating her, and then he stopped dating her so he could continue doing Call of Duty tournaments. And I'm like, it sounds funny, but it's like, for him it was super serious because it's his career. I was gonna do the air quotes, but that's terrible. It's his career. I mean, gaming is a huge industry, and so, but it's like, still, I would find another profession to keep dating that woman.
Yeah.
Like, they had tattoos together and all that stuff. Anyway. This is totally me. Sometimes I'm lazy. Like, my hands are sticky from eating, like, I don't know, when I ate beef, like barbecue or something, or pork, right? I didn't feel like getting up and leaving the conversation, so like, I'll take the water that I know I'm not gonna drink anymore, and I'll like dip my fingers and just to like clean it off, or I'll pour it into like an empty dish just to clean it off, and I'll use a napkin. I'm like, I'm done. This all shit's getting taken to the kitchen anyhow, so I'm finished with it.
In some countries, that's just, it's customary, like it's standard, it's what they do. I've done that at restaurants, but I've only done it at restaurants in other countries where it's a thing that you do. I can't say that I've ever done that at, like, in LA at a restaurant. I usually carry wipes with me anyway.
No. I'm not judging you. I'm like, I think I'm in love. so
I
Anyway.
I carry wipes with me,
I'm not asking her out for the record. I'm not trying to get fucking Me Too'd in this bitch. Okay? So, that was just a joke. I don't make up my own words, but I do get nervous about a certain ingredient. Like just the other day, I was having lunch with the head of Pocket Aces, who owns Filter Copy. You guys know who I'm talking about. Or one of the CEOs of Pocket Aces. We're sitting at the table, and they ordered something, and I don't know what's in the thing that they ordered. They say it to me, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's beef or pork or chicken. It's got some fancy fucking name. And I'm like, okay, so I turn to Achara, who happens to be with me, and Kristen, I'm like, what is this thing right here? They're like, it's pork. I'm like, okay, I can't eat that. I had a lack of confidence in like saying that out loud because I didn't want to look stupid. I don't want to know if I should ask the waiter about the something, and anyway, that's it. I'm just showing my lack of knowledge with food. That's it.
No, it's I do the same thing. Like if there's a word that I can't pronounce, if it's in another language, especially like if I'm at a French restaurant, like it has the American description underneath, so I know what I'm ordering, but I can't pronounce it properly, and I'm not going to read the American description, so I'll just point to it because I'm too embarrassed to say it out loud and get it wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. This one right here, I want this food. Okay, you guys, thanks so much for hanging out with us. Thank you, Jordindian, for allowing us to react to this. Very, very much appreciate it. And do check out TRISHA Cummings on the social media, and you'll also find her in a video on the Patreon as we talk about her proclivities and mine. And subscribe, check out other reactions, reviews, short films, and vlogs. I'm Jaby Koay. This is...
I'm TRISHA Cummings.
Peace out.